That was Man Fresh, right? Yeah. We started the timers, and I would say the big timers is like a dope boy. And so I told Fresh, we're gonna just be the big timers. You know, that's how I come up. That's my partner. So we started the big timers, but we all was the Cash Money Millionaires at the big timers and the hot boys. So and we really started rapping because them little niggas was too young to get in the club, and they used to be, you know, besides Juve, the rest of them used to be a little shimmy. So we used to be like they hype man.
I had never heard the song before, but I was just like, whatever the fuck that is, I need to learn how to do that. That was the defining moment, that record. It was life-changing. I practiced 24/7 all day, get on my mom's nerves, my dad's nerves. He a DJ, but he's still going, turn that shit off.
In the spring of 2023, a major business move quietly confirmed a legacy that had been overlooked for years because of industry drama. Reservoir Media, a publicly traded independent music company based in New York, officially bought Byron Thomas's full catalog, including his ownership of master recordings and songwriting rights. The price was never revealed, but the deal sent a clear message. Southern hip-hop still carries huge long-term value, and Byron Thomas helped build that foundation.
And I ain't get in the game to rap. Right. I got in the game to make rappers.
Right.
But I was kind of forced to rap. So I said, I'm going to just try this shit. I don't care if I rap or rhyme, nigga. I'm going to just pop my shit. If you fuck with it, you fuck with it. If you don't, I don't care. And that's how that shit started, bro.
But the big timers,
Now we got a legacy of our own.
correct.
For a fact.
Reservoir's announcement highlighted that Byron Thomas created or helped shape nearly every track across 15 gold, platinum, and multi-platinum albums released from the late 1990s through the mid-2000s. That catalog helped define a sound that still lives on today, with artists like Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and Youngboy Never Broke Again, continuing to sample and build from its influence. His work never disappeared. It only became more valuable. The deal also became one of the biggest acknowledgments for someone who spent years behind the scenes before taking his own path. After leaving his original musical home, he signed with Def Jam South, launched Chubby Boy Records, and released Return of the Ballin' in 2009 with features from Lil Jon and Rick Ross. He later worked on projects involving Kanye West's Cruel Summer, T.I., Young Jeezy, Mos Def, Mystical, Drake, and Trina, while earning a double platinum certification for Lil Wayne's Go DJ.
A super memorable studio moment is Still Fly. When I was making Still Fly, nobody liked the song. I mean, like, it was like they had a campaign on destroying this song. Baby was like, he in there singing some shit about everything in his mama name, don't know what the fuck he doing. And then they would send somebody else in the room and be like, can you move to another track? Can you please stop doing this stupid ass song?
Beyond the studio, he built a respected career as a touring DJ, performed at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, mentored rising producers, and earned lasting respect as one of rap's most influential veterans without depending on a major corporate machine. Long before becoming one of hip-hop's biggest names, his journey began in the heart of Louisiana. Born on March 20th, 1969, in New Orleans' legendary 7th Ward, he grew up surrounded by non-stop music, second-line parades, brass bands, neighborhood block parties, and a culture where rhythm was part of daily life.
My dad, Sabu, was a street DJ in New Orleans, and his performances was crazy. I remember my dad used to come home with DJ of the Year trophies. Early on, my dad did block parties. I just remember my dad backspinning Chic, Good Times. Good times. Give me good times.
Music wasn't just entertainment. It was everywhere and shaped how he saw the world from the start. His mother was a teacher, while his father, known as DJ Sabu, earned a strong reputation rocking clubs and parties across New Orleans.
Man, and he would pass on your block, and he would play records, and you know, he gave black parties before black parties was black parties. And Sabu had a baby. He was like a child prodigy. He could do everything at a young age. I'm not surprised that he is one of the greatest producers in the game. His love for music was just always there. He was always trying to push the envelope.
Watching his father control the turntables and keep crowds moving made a lasting impact. Instead of filling the house with ordinary toys, his parents encouraged his passion by giving him musical instruments, a choice that would later help shape the sound of modern hip-hop.
I started DJing block parties. Now, at the time, Miami bass started jumping off. I noticed that everybody in New Orleans loves 808 beats. I started bringing my 808 drum machine to the gigs, and that caught on. Like what kids would be like, hey, when you gonna play the drum machine? This is what people wanted me to do more than DJing.
As a teenager performing as Mannie Fresh, he turned ordinary school dances into unforgettable events. He didn't just play popular records, he took things further by using an 808 drum machine to create live beats and layer his own rhythms in real time. The crowd wasn't just listening, they were seeing something new and exciting. That creativity opened the door to New York Incorporated, an early New Orleans rap group featuring a young Mia X, who later became a No Limit Records star, along with Denny D, a New York native who introduced the crew to East Coast DJ techniques like scratching and transforming. Mannie Fresh later called those years a tough training ground. He learned to mix without headphones, sharpened his instincts for reading crowds, and built the discipline that set him apart long before the industry noticed.
Who Let the Dogs Out song. We was at Circle House. So I was programming something in the studio, and the dudes who made that song, they was just like, bro, would you help us with a song? And I was just like, I'm busy doing something right now. And they was just like, well, just give us a hook or whatever, you know, and I'm hitting on the thing. And I was like, well, just go, who let the dogs out? Who? And I closed the door, and I was just like, make it the out of here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that came out, and I was just like, wait a minute.
His non-stop hustle paid off in the late 1980s when he teamed up with New Orleans rapper Gregory D, forming one of the city's first rap duos to achieve real hometown success.
At the time, I was working at Allen Toussaint C-Sank studio. The guy in there was like, do you know any rappers? And I'm like, yeah, I know this guy, Gregory D. So they just like, well, if y'all want to make a song, y'all can do it. But it's got to kind of sound like something New Orleans. Just somebody's idea of how I'm going to merge hip-hop with jazz. And I'm automatically going, if I get a chance, I'm just going to put some 808 drums in there. And I'm like, it ain't going to be no horns and all.
Recording at the famous C-Saint Studios, founded by Rock and Roll Hall of Fame legend Allen Toussaint, they created Buck Jump Time, a song that became a New Orleans hip-hop classic. Their success led to Throwdown in 1987 and more releases, including the 1992 major label album, The Real Deal, distributed by RCA Records.
I laid the beat down, and I was like, what if I just tripled the snares and all of that? Boom, 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 the drum started sounding like, well, damn, that's like a New Orleans pattern. It came from growing up here. I just turned this 808 drum into the New Orleans second line jazz drummer. And so Greg was like, I know how to make it traditional New Orleans. Buck jump is pretty much a dance in New Orleans. It's what you do when you second line.
But working with a major label wasn't what he expected. Slow decisions and a disconnect from the culture left him frustrated. The experience convinced him there had to be a better way to build a career while keeping creative control. Instead of settling, he took those lessons and searched for a new opportunity. That chance came in 1991 when two New Orleans brothers launched Cash Money Records. Brian Williams, known as Baby, and Ronald Slim Williams built the label from the ground up, selling cassette tapes from car trunks and growing a loyal local fan base. By 1993, they offered Mannie Fresh a game-changing role, become the exclusive producer, create every beat, and help shape the label's signature sound. He accepted, later saying those early days felt less like a polished company and more like a determined group learning the music business together.
Man, Fresh used to do a lot of shows, bro. We used to throw their drawers and panties on the stage, and
Cause that's what y'all was rapping
yeah,
about.
you heard me? Fresh, he a wild boy, you heard me? He gonna entertain all that shit, you heard me? I'm like, I ain't really with all that, but Fresh entertaining anything popping at the time when we was young. So that was that big time and shit. We was popping our shit and they was fucking with it.
During the early 1990s, Cash Money Records kept growing one release at a time, building a strong presence across the South with independent projects from artists like Pimp Daddy, Lil Slim, UNLV, and Ms. T. The label sold hundreds of thousands of records, proving a local movement could thrive without major label backing. Behind almost every release was one producer whose sound became impossible to ignore. He blended New Orleans jazz rhythms with the fast energy of bounce music, mixing live instruments with booming bass to create a style that felt completely fresh. Bold horn sections, second-line drum patterns, playful synth melodies, and hard-hitting bass made his production one of the most recognizable sounds in Southern hip-hop. It didn't just stand out, it helped define an era. As the decade continued, the roster added rising talent, including Dwayne Carter, later known as Lil Wayne, along with BG and the fast-rising Juvenile. When Turk joined in 1997, the four artists formed the Hot Boys, giving the label its biggest step toward national attention. Even before a major distributor arrived, Juvenile's independent album Soulja Rags reportedly sold around 200,000 copies through local support and grassroots promotion alone. Those sales grabbed Universal Records' attention, showing that while many in the industry overlooked Southern hip-hop, Cash Money had already built a powerful business through relentless hustle, loyal fans, and a signature sound.
I just remember it was met with so much, like, this is not the one. And it was overwhelming, like, how many people did not like Still Fly. And I was like, bro, I know what I'm doing. It was one of them, we damn near went to blows behind that song because everybody was just like, what you're saying on the hook is the dumbest in the world. And I was like, what I'm saying on the hook of this song is the way everybody in America lives. And that's why it's gonna hit. I was like, the reason why this is gonna hit, because it's really everything that happens every day.
Cash Money's growing success gave the Williams brothers something few independent labels had: real bargaining power. When negotiations with major record companies began, they refused to give up control of what they had built. Instead, they pushed for terms many believed were impossible. In the spring of 1998, with support from industry advocate Wendy Day and the Rap Coalition, Cash Money Records reached a groundbreaking distribution deal with Universal Records reportedly worth $30 million.
Cash Money was so all about, we got everything. It's all about the money. It's all about, and this song kind of downplayed that. It was just like, nah, this is really just, quarter tank of gas in my new E-Class, got everything in my mama name. And it was like, that just don't fit the big timers or whatever. And I'm like, dude, this one gonna go. So I think that right there was memorable. Like I said, we fought like a long time, like maybe 2 or 3 days about Still Fly.
So, like, Big Timers to me, like, changed the game in a lot of
Big Timers was all about what was really me, my image, my life.
Yeah.
All this,
the names of the song.
diamonds, jewelry, cars, that was all my identity. I just had a fantasy as a youngster. I wanted to show my ass, and when I got some money, that's exactly what we did.
The agreement became one of hip-hop's biggest business stories because it gave the label rare control. According to widely reported terms, Cash Money kept ownership of its master recordings, received about 85% of its wholesale royalties, and limited Universal's distribution fee to roughly 7%, leaving the major label focused mainly on manufacturing and distribution. The deal also reportedly included a $2 million to $3 million advance for the Williams brothers. Industry accounts say negotiations reached a turning point when Universal chairman Doug Morris stepped in after Birdman and Slim were ready to reject an earlier offer. Nicknamed the Louisiana Purchase, the agreement became one of rap's most influential business deals. Cash Money's first major Universal release was Juvenile's 400 Degrees, released in November 1998 and produced entirely by Mannie Fresh. The album reached number 9 on the Billboard 200, sold more than 5 million copies worldwide, and became one of the best-selling Southern rap albums ever. It later earned a place on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. The album's biggest hit, Back That Ass Up, also produced by Mannie Fresh, became a cultural phenomenon and later landed on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Its influence continued to shape artists and fans for years afterward. Between 1998 and 2001, Mannie Fresh helped lead Cash Money through one of the biggest runs in rap history. During that period, the label scored 18 top 5 Billboard singles and 11 platinum or multi-platinum albums, with millions more sold in later years. The Hot Boys' Guerrilla Warfare, BG's Chopper City in the Ghetto, and Lil Wayne's Tha Block Is Hot all went platinum, while the Big Timers topped the Billboard 200 with Hood Rich. Their hit Still Fly reached number 11 on the Hot 100 and earned 2 Grammy nominations. Mannie Fresh's production helped drive more than 23 million albums sold worldwide and contributed to 17 gold, platinum, or multi-platinum RIAA certifications. Behind the image of a flashy, close-knit crew wearing designer outfits, diamond chains, and luxury cars, another story was beginning to surface. As Cash Money became a powerhouse, questions about finances and transparency later became a major topic. According to later public disputes and accounts, some people behind the label's signature sound felt they had limited insight into the company's financial picture as it expanded. During the label's peak, Mannie Fresh reportedly earned around $50,000 or more for many of his productions, an impressive amount on its own. Still, later legal disputes and industry observers raised questions about how that pay compared with the label's growing success and the revenue generated by its biggest releases. As Cash Money kept expanding, those questions only grew louder. In much of the music industry, producers may earn additional income through mechanical royalties, publishing, performance royalties, or songwriting credits, depending on their contracts and creative roles. Cash Money's distribution deal with Universal was widely viewed as highly favorable for the label, including valuable publishing-related revenue. However, disagreements over royalties and payments later became part of several public disputes and legal conflicts involving artists and contributors, adding another layer to the label's complex legacy. As those disagreements continued, several key figures left Cash Money Records, marking a major turning point. Juvenile departed in 2001 after Project English, publicly raising financial concerns. Reports described unsuccessful settlement talks followed by legal action, and he later returned in 2003 under a separate agreement that included the rights to Juve the Great. BG also left during that period, citing financial concerns, and never returned. Years later, producer Bangladesh filed a lawsuit seeking royalties connected to Lil Wayne's A Milli. In public interviews, he claimed producers were not properly compensated, adding to the broader discussion about contracts and payments in the music business. More legal disputes followed. Tyga sued Cash Money seeking substantial damages, and the case drew attention because of questions surrounding the legal representation involved when his original recording agreement was signed. Around the same time, Wendy Day, who helped negotiate Cash Money's landmark Universal deal, publicly said she was never paid the finder's fee she believed she was owed and was told to pursue the matter in court. As Birdman's business empire expanded through Young Money Entertainment and stars like Drake and Nicki Minaj, the company's success was increasingly accompanied by high-profile legal and financial disputes that continued making headlines. In 2014, Lil Wayne filed a widely reported $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money Records, alleging unpaid advances along with copyright and contract-related issues. The case became one of hip-hop's biggest legal battles, lasting several years before both sides reached a confidential settlement in 2018. Although the final terms were never revealed, the dispute brought even more attention to questions about the label's business practices. For Mannie Fresh, though, that relationship had already reached its breaking point years earlier. After releasing his debut solo album, The Mind of Mannie Fresh, in 2004, he showed he could succeed on his own.
When I left Cash Money, I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to play out or whatever, because I didn't have no connections. I buried myself in the drum machine most of the time. I didn't know nothing. So it got really, really dark because you have these moments where you're like, man, maybe this is the end of my career. This is before social media and people just was kind of like just being people. Like I was being crucified, why would you leave? Why would you do this? You're not shit without them or they not shit without that kind of stuff. One of the first songs I got an opportunity to do outside of them was Jeezy.
The 30-track project included Real Big, which reached number 79 on the Billboard Hot 100 and proved his name carried weight beyond producing. Even with that success, his partnership with the Williams brothers had fallen apart. In 2005, Mannie Fresh officially left Cash Money, later saying his decision came down to one issue: money. He summed it up with the phrase, "scratch moolah." The producer who helped shape the label's biggest era walked away, saying he believed he had not been properly compensated for his work.
I don't know if this got traction, if this gonna be it for me or whatever. And he came to New Orleans, hold up, wait, I got one more song I wanna do, and I'm gonna do this last one and we gonna get out. And he did that song. And the fucking crowd went crazy. Like, they went nuts over that song. Like, you know, and I remember crying, bro. It brought me to tears, because it was that moment that I felt like it was something lifted off of me. Like, I had that moment of like, thank you, God. It was Jeezy and then what? And that was one of, you know, that was the start of Jeezy's career. So, you know, that was me. That gave me all the confidence in the world to be like, I'm gonna be all right.
By June 2006, reports confirmed Mannie Fresh and Cash Money had reached a legal settlement, but the financial terms remained confidential. Because those details were never disclosed, debate has continued over the deal's full impact. Given the success of albums like 400 Degrees and the millions of records tied to his production, many have speculated about what he might have earned under different contract terms, though no exact figures have ever been publicly confirmed. Even after years of financial disputes and legal battles, the relationship between Mannie Fresh and Brian "Birdman" Williams was never as simple as the headlines suggested. Their business partnership ended, but their personal history ran much deeper. In a 2018 interview, Birdman spoke respectfully about Mannie Fresh and reflected on the painful losses they both faced after parting ways, including the 2007 death of Mannie Fresh's sister, Angela Bryant. Those shared experiences created a bond that neither success nor conflict could fully erase. That connection eventually led to an unexpected reunion. In 2018, the longtime collaborators released Designer Caskets, the first new Big Timers song in 15 years, for Apple Music's Before Anything documentary soundtrack. Directed by Benny Boom and filmed across New Orleans, the video also featured Juvenile and Turk. With its classic bounce sound and familiar chemistry, the release felt like a full-circle moment for longtime fans. Speaking on The Breakfast Club in 2020, Mannie Fresh shared a simple message about moving forward. He said that, at some point, you have to forgive and keep living. That didn't erase the past or answer every business question, but it showed that peace can matter more than holding on to old battles. One thing is hard to deny: Mannie Fresh helped shape the sound of Southern hip-hop, and that influence still reaches artists and fans around the world. If you enjoyed this story and want more deep dives into hip-hop history, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other music fans. Most importantly, leave a comment below. What do you think is Mannie Fresh's greatest production, and where does he rank among hip-hop's all-time producers? We'd love to hear your thoughts.